Hello. I am so excited to be here today because I didn't always have an opportunity to show up like this. I grew up in rural South Georgia, and for me, everything was either you went to church or you didn't. And I was the one that chose that I was not going to church. And in my family, it was a huge taboo. So I was a black sheep of the family way before I was the black sheep of the family. And what I learned, because I was always such an outcast, is I learned to find my own pathway early on in life. And for me, that meant when I was in school, I was always quirky, nerdy, geeky. I was always on my own beat. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had maybe 3 or 4 people that I was really close to and still close to those ladies to this day. But, I just South Georgia is just very different. I just remember always dreaming of, "I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm gonna go to Atlanta." I didn't know what I was gonna do when I got to Atlanta, but I just knew I needed to get to Atlanta to be able to live whatever life I thought I wanted to live. And when I was 18 years old, I came out and I thought that, okay, I've graduated from high school, I'm going to come out and everything is just going to keep going as it is. I didn't realize that coming out was going to cause me to lose my whole family for 20 years. And the only family that I would have was the strangers that I was going to meet in Atlanta. I didn't realize that coming out was going to make me become homeless at 18 years old. Um, I didn't realize that coming out was going to force me to choose the pathways of, when should I be in the closet? When should I be out of the closet? Um, there's just so much that I didn't realize, but there was a lot more that I did. I became a mom. I had 2 children, both who have special needs, and my children became my passion. They became my fire. They became my world. And because of my children, I became an activist in a whole different level. I was already an activist in the LGBTQ community, but my children made me become an activist for even more people, for youth aging out of foster care, for sex trafficking survivors, for homeless LGBTQ youth, for youth with individuals with disabilities, for children with autism. And, that's how I get to show up now. I get to show up in all of these areas, not only because of my experience of growing up in South Georgia and having children with disabilities, but also being able to be an educator and a law enforcement officer and all of those things that really just fold into who I am today. And sometimes I think back, if I could just go back and tell 18-year-old Annise to just stay the course and it's going to be okay. You know, you don't have to be afraid. It's gonna be okay. I just wanna say that to her over and over, and I think that's why I continue to show up in the community to tell everyone else that it's going to be okay because 18-year-old Denise didn't have anyone to tell her that it was going to be okay. So I am so excited for this summit, for this platform, for this opportunity. And Gabrielle, you are one of my dearest champions. And I have a saying that, there's a lot of talk about who's at the table. And if you're not at the table, you're on the table. And what I love about Gabrielle is Gabrielle, no matter what table she's sitting at, she will always make room for me at the table. And that's a part of diversity and inclusion that I think sometimes that we miss. If you're at a table and you look around and you don't see other people at the table who look different from you, then you need to move over and make a seat for the people who are different because that means that some voices are missing from the table. And if the voices are missing from the table, that means they're going to be on the table. So thank you so much, Gabrielle, for this opportunity.